So Harry and Meghan have been doing really well, especially when Netflix just released the stats for the first 2025 most watched TV shows, and our girl was at number 389 out of 7,514 shows. So that means she was at top 5% of 2025 most watched shows, and it was a cooking show, so she did really well. That's super impressive because the other so-called famous chefs in their shows literally were nowhere in sight. So numbers don't lie. Don't lie on Meghan. They're doing really well. And then on top of that, you have As Ever literally selling out. And then Netflix season 2 of With Love Meghan is also coming out. So our girl is on a roll. She's got her hands booked. She's busy. I love that for her. And of course, the same thing with Harry. Look at Travelist. Look at all these things, his investment portfolio. So now the UK media is pocket watching Harry. Remember, these are the same people who constantly said that they are going broke, number one. Number two, that they've always wanted them to crawl back to the UK so that they can they can beg Charles for money. That is never going to happen, and that will never ever happen. Our girl, they're really smart, and I know they have great financial advisors, financial managers. They invest their money. They're really smart. Meghan is so smart. She's a nut. You think she's just sitting here and you think she's going to wait for you guys to go broke? The audacity. Some of these people are just so, it's just so unhinged, like literally. So the UK media has been pocket watching Harry and Meghan, and I think they are so rattled with the fact that they're not going broke. They're not going broke because remember, they really want them to go broke so that they can go back to the UK. Remember when this stupid Charles fabricated a story of a possible reconciliation with Harry just to keep William in order, and the UK press started running, it's Harry and Meghan who licked it because they're broke, they want to go back so Charles can beg them for money. And then Harry's like, wait, what? No, we're not coming back to the UK. And of course, our aides did not meet to talk about a possible reconciliation. That is a hoax, that's a lie, and it's never happening. I love how Harry is fighting hard and clapping when it comes to these tabloids. So now they are so jealous of Harry and Meghan's financial status, financial independence. They hate that. So of course, again, they are talking about Harry and Meghan's pocket like they always do. This is not news. So something popped on my timeline, and I saw people talking about it and laughing, saying, oh, keep dreaming or whatever. And I felt, okay, let me see. And then it was from the fail saying, truth about Harry and Meghan's money. Her ignominious downgrade revealed by Alison Boshoff as friends tell how they're funding their $4 million a year life. First things first, you guys are pathetic and lying. No Meghan and Harry friends are talking to their gutter, toxic US press. No Meghan, there's no Lexi Montecito. Their friends do not talk to the toxic gutter UK press. They do not. They have busy things to do. They have a lot going on to do. And they're like, and mind you, these are named. One thing, you know that line when they say unnamed sources close to the couple, that's how you know they're named. That's it. Funding their $4 million a year life. Oh, this is just, honestly, it's disgusting. And also a friendly reminder that for the last 5 years and for the next 50 years, the goal of the British media will be to financially kneecap Harry and Meghan so they can be forced to crawl back to the Windsor. That is one thing I want you to know. This is why I will always support Meghan's business, because there's no way I will allow the Meghan Sussex to fail. We're not going to allow her to fail. We will support all her business ventures, and I love how we're showing up, because the UK media is just pocket watching, waiting for them to go broke so they can run back to Charles and crawl begging for money. That's what they've always wanted. And also, I think for me to bring this headline here, to talk about this, was to illustrate the obsessive pocket watching that the British media is involved in, because for some reason they can't understand how Harry and Meghan support themselves, despite the fact that we know they've been paid from various partnerships as well as investments, and now Meghan's brand. And it's not hard. It's really not hard to understand where they get their money from. I think the bigger issue for the tabloids is that they haven't been able to hurt the Sussexes' earning potential. Don't forget, Charles didn't just take security, he took the money too, because he thought those two would be too stupid to figure out how to support themselves. So that's it. Now they're thriving, they're doing really well. So they are jealous of that. They hate that because that proves that their predictions were false and are never ever going to happen. And it's really, really, it's really crazy. They are upset that Harry and Meghan get to live a lavish life. They want them to be as miserable, as broke as possible. But you now have Harry, really, they're doing great. They're taking care of their own security. They have a very beautiful mansion in Montecito. Look at their kids, healthy, beautiful. So they hate that. They want them to be crying or miserable, like, oh, now they cannot afford this. And that's why when Meghan wears something, be it a watch, jewelry, or whatever, they have to put price tags on that. Oh, Meghan wore a $5,000. She's rich. That shows she's rich. My girl is rich. She can afford these things. And I love that. And these people keep forgetting that Meghan was a millionaire before she even married into this toxic family. She was a self-made millionaire. She had her money. That's why I'm telling you, she's so smart. She's financially smart. She's book smart. She's street smart. Look at her hustle. She had the thing. That was a hustle before hustles were a thing. So don't play with my girl. What is wrong with these people? So one thing for sure we know they fail, but another thing I just wanted, the way I did this story is because they are constantly pocket watching Harry and Meghan in hopes that they will go broke and call back to King Charles for money. But it's not going to happen. And the fact that it's not happening, it's making them even pissed. Like they're even pissed. So now they're coming up with these stories. It's really crazy. Anyway, here's what the internet had to say in regards to that. So Unique says they are so upset, very upset. They are so upset that they have financial freedom. You have Enterprise says the world's a big place. The world is not the royal family or the UK. Harry and Meghan are versatile. They'll survive anywhere else. Neither Charles or William will last forever. Who may find themselves shunned globally for their childishness. Let them self-destruct. Completely agree. Beyonce says, and like Meghan said, she has turned down many offers, and they are knocking at her and Harry's door. I agree. Meghan said they've turned down so many offers. Of course, they have to be careful with what they do, who they work with, and whatever. I know that they have to walk through that process. So that I know there's so many brands knocking at their doorstep. We just don't know it, but I know there's so many brands who really want to work with her. Laura says, those unnamed friends again. Yeah, it's always the unnamed friends or sources close to the couple. And then Ed says, utter foolishness. Harry got a multi-million-dollar inheritance from his mother, and I'm sure one from the Queen too. Meghan had money before she married Harry, and she's still making money. The derangers are delusional as usual. Kay says, the weekend is here and the Fail must find a way to sell its sewage. No friend of the Sussexes talk to the Fail. None. And then a Cool Blood says, exactly, I don't even post their bio because that is what they want. And then Ark says, if supporting them, they mean helping her business thrive and buying her products and giving advice, then I'm all for it. The spin is ridiculous. Of course, they're spinning it. Meghan's friends are very supportive. They've been vocal. Of course, Meghan is also so sweet and supportive of her friends. That's what it should be writing. But of course, it's the toxic British press. They'll always have to spin the narrative. Then Fiona says, reading that headline, I interpret the opposite of what they are saying. They're heading to billionaire status and these losers can't understand how. The friends don't speak to the gutter press. Funny how British media isn't obsessed with royal family finances. They can't handle the truth. They really can't. And then you have Royal Expert says, how do they know how they are funding their lifestyle? They are banned from events to have no idea what is going on in their lives, especially their finances. Daily Mail are delusional and their storytellers live in Cuckooland. True. And then Party says, 4 million a year lifestyle. Daily Mail needs to stop being jealous and get their own friends. Thank God for supportive friends. Sussex says they can speculate what they want. The hardworking and investing Sussexes are fine financially. For example, with Spare alone, published in 18 languages including Chinese, Prince Harry made tens of millions of dollars and he will continue to receive good royalties from it for many years to come. Star power. And then you have Meghan. Sussex says, laughable title but very insidious. Meghan being financially independent and happy is the worst nightmare. The worst. And then Vesper says, this is obviously more hateful clickbait because everyone knows their friends don't speak to the media about them. How How will they know their finances anyway? Are people really this stupid? Wait, don't answer that. Mo says, rest assured, they don't have that power. If they had that power, they would have already used it. They don't. Meghan and their husband are obscene rich. They don't. Meghan and her husband are obscenely rich. It will take an act of God for them to lose all their money and credit to have to go back to the royal family. Joy says, and 4 million isn't that what she was making before that family? She was racking in millions. They make it seem like she was this broke person. Beyonce says, and his grandmother and grandfather left Harry money when they died. Absolutely. So guys, that's how jealous the UK British press are. They cannot understand how is it that Harry and Meghan get to live a lavish lifestyle, how they get to have these amazing things, continue thriving, be successful, financially independent, when they've constantly predicted that they are going to crawl back to Charles asking for money. That's what they want. They want them miserable. So right now they're really upset that that is not happening and pocket watching them when they should be focused on their favorite leftover royals. Anyway, that's what's happening right now, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments. Remember to like, share, and of course, most importantly, guys, kindly hit that subscribe button. Tell a friend to tell a friend. So thank you so much for watching. I love you, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.